In a decade, Rwanda has achieved one of the highest 3G and 4G network coverage rates on the continent. By 2019, mobile internet subscribers numbered 7 million in Rwanda, 58.3 for every 100 people.
The position that we've been in is land-locked, resource-locked. So with digitization, there is no lock on it. And that's the only key that we have.
Digital transformation is at the heart of Rwanda's rapid economic growth, a strategic choice to anchor its long-term vision. And one of the biggest triumphs is the inception of Irembo.
Irembo is a software technology company, and it's a language in Kinyarwanda that means gateway. When Irembo was founded in 2014, I think the idea was, how do we create a single place where citizens can come and access any service?
Private sector-led growth, supported by the government of Rwanda, has been at the helm of Rwanda's economic journey in the last decade.
It was incubated by the government. It was important for this kind of innovation to grow and thrive, to really create a framework within which it can ensure its success, which is why it was important for it to be led and managed as a private company.
This had to be a partnership in one way or the other. Irembo started at a time when the government had set an ambitious goal of digitizing, of going digital with the public services.
We provide more than 120 services on the platform. And these services range from anything, things that are in civil registry, like applying for your birth certificate, applying for your driving license, applying for a passport, transferring your title deed. It's a very wide ranging of services.
As the third CEO of the company, Israel's background in impact startups served as the foundation for his connection with Irembo.
I was quite close because I was working for Zipline, which was equally doing a similar amount of work and impact across the country, but more in the health sector side of things. But similar identities as technology companies, youth-led, really making significant impact for the communities that we serve. And then, I served on the board supporting the CEO and the management team to be able to achieve their mission. And they were going through several transitions, improving the services in every possible way. My predecessor, Faith, pretty much embodies the innovation that we wanted to be able to drive here, and the team more broadly. I think she was able to build a team that is extremely driven, that is very innovative, that was able to create something very different from what it is that we knew.
By completely digitalizing social services, Irembo transformed the citizen experience, saving people time and money.
And the first step was to remove the need for a queuing experience. It's really people should get services adequately, but also it allows them to provide better services and run their other operations much, much more efficiently.
Today, more than 120 services are just a button push away for more than 9 million subscribers, and thousands of others who can access the online services through Irembo agents across the country.
Irembo kuva ryatangira gukoreshwa kuko ryaje mu mwaka wa 2015 byakemuye ibibazo byinshi. Wenda urugero nk'icyo ngiye ku giti cyanjye nakundaga kubona, washoboraga kuba wajya kureba umuyobozi akaba yakwaka amafaranga yiyongere ko bagomba gutanga, ukaba watakaza igihe cyo kujya kumureba n'ayo matike atuma umugeraho. Ubu ngubu rero byaroroshye. Icyambere cyo ni amafaranga make kuko serivisi z'Irembo zitangirwa ubuntu. Twebwe nk'aba agent nta mafaranga twishyuza abantu kuko hari icyo bita nka commission leta igenda tugenera kubwo gutanga iyo serivisi dufasha abaturage. Irembo rero ryaje kugira ngo abaturage aho bari muri quartier zabo biborohere kubona za serivisi bitabasabye kujya kuri office kuzishakayo.
When we look at it globally, I would say about 17 million transactions have been recorded through Irembo for the past 7 years. And currently we're basically averaging maybe tens of thousands of transactions on a daily basis and maybe hundreds of thousands on a monthly.
With over 90 employees across different departments ranging from IT to marketing, Irembo embodies a youthful energy.
But again, we also feel like we are a leading company in this space, so which means we can be able to flex some way, somehow, and attract some of the best talent on the continent to come and build with us. And that means that we are a very dynamic organization.
We've learned a lot as an e-gov and e-payments tech company.
As a woman, I feel empowered as I get to bring my own contribution, collaborate with others in identifying opportunities and delivering on values that significantly improve people's lives.
So one thing that we believe in here is that we're building a product for not just Rwanda, but a product for Africa, and that's how we see our future growth.
Impacting lives across the country, Irembo works on fee-based service model with several partners.
There are multiple models that we can use with. I think some of those, and it's pretty much traditional what software as a service company could charge, whether it's a percentage of the transaction fee, whether it's a subscription model for services that tend to be free. So we work with our partners to identify what's the right way to be able to create value for them, but also capture that value back into the company and continue to build and scale.
Building a complex web of applications to deliver customer needs requires multi-layered security protocols to avoid leaks and breaches.
From a legal perspective, it's already easy working with government because compliance is by default what we go by. From an infrastructure perspective, there are legal frameworks that we work within. Things like we can't host data in the cloud for most of these services that have personal identification.
Given the kind of data that we handle, the kind of product and service that we provide, it also means that we build tech differently. We build our infrastructure differently in a unique manner, which also allows us to be a leading company in that sense and really creating a certain level of standard that allows many peers of ours to really kind of grow. And we believe it's one of the best contributions we can ever make to the ecosystem. What does excellent software look like? What does excellent infrastructure look like? What does the right security and data protection architecture and processes look like? And so that's something we constantly work on in every possible way. So, yeah.
While the work culture at Irembo might resemble a startup's fervor, it has come a long way, carefully positioning Rwanda as a tech hub, something the next CEO can vouch for.
I first moved to Rwanda in 2020. I liked the country. When it was time to create a company, I just found it very easy to just set up in Rwanda. It took like a day. It took like 2 hours to sign up, to make a company, to set up in Rwanda. So it's very company-friendly, startup-friendly ecosystem, and it's fast-growing as well. So that's why.
And what was being set up was a homegrown alternative to PayPal.
It is a borderless digital bank for Africans. So pretty much making it very simple for Africans living in Africa to be able to receive payments and also make foreign payments.
Freelancers in Africa have always had issues receiving payment from abroad. So you do your job and you can't get paid because, for example, PayPal doesn't let you create an account from Africa, from various African countries.
It's because we're connecting Africa to the world financial system. So we can pretty much connect you living in Africa to someone living in the US. So I can just make a bank transfer from my US account to your US account that's domiciled in the US, but you live in Africa. So that seamless flow of funds is what people would think makes us similar to PayPal.
Payday arrived on the market when several other fintech companies were paving the way into Africa.
When you're trying to build a fintech solution for people in the diaspora, that works, and for Africans as well.
For a long time, we've not had these fintech companies around. So as we are growing, we expand more, we create more possibilities for people.
What we do, we first go to those countries and we study what they want to do or how they do it currently. And then we also look at pre-existing fintechs that are already there and see how they do it. And then we can start with partnering with them, just to stay compliant. And then with time, when we fully understand the compliance system and framework there, we can pretty much set up and start transacting directly with banks or with customers.
Learning from others and innovating their product appears to be innate to the founder of Payday.
I was born in Nigeria. I moved to the US in 2016 for college, studied computer science at Southern Arkansas University. So my background is pretty much in engineering. I'm a software engineer myself. So pretty much it was very easy for me to spin up servers, build front-end applications, build mobile apps and stuff. So building out the technical part of the product wasn't like a hassle for me at all. Yeah, I mean, I had to hire engineers as well, people who were more experienced than me or people who like could do stuff. And then we came together and built it and made it better. All right, so we started Payday in June of 2021, and we closed our seed round of $2.2 million before December 2021. And we are processing about 300, 500K every month. When we started out with 8,000 customers, and now we've grown to over 60,000 customers, and we do, on average, $5 million a month right now. We've pretty much hired a lot of people. We're currently at a team of 15, and we process close to 200, 300K on a daily basis.
So initially we started with Talent Pay, which is a B2B solution for business to businesses, right? So for example, Talent Pay offers services such as paying talents in Africa. So you can have your organization outside the country anywhere and you have African employers with you. So, you know, you think about the fact that how do you pay your African talents in their currency of choice?
Okay, so with the way fintech has evolved in Africa, I don't really have to connect to all the banks individually. So we have big partners like Flutterwave. So we work with Flutterwave. They've already done all the groundwork. They've connected to all the banks in Africa. You know what I mean? So pretty much we just integrate with Flutterwave and then we have access to all the banks. So we just use them to send money to the banks. Right now, it's $10,000 a day for a single customer to transfer money. And then for businesses, it varies on the level of compliance and the level of verification we've done. But yeah, you can pretty much send reasonable amounts of money. It just depends on how much verification or how much we know you as a customer.
You can download our app from the iOS store and Android store. And the fact that it's also very user-friendly. But the main thing that differentiates Payday from other payments app is the fact that once you download the app, you have access to 4 virtual accounts. So an NGN account, a US account, a Euro account, and a Great British account as well. The app is also very easy to navigate.
Digital banking has taken a while to develop trust among citizens in Africa. And while cash is still king, companies like Payday are learning to break such barriers.
Since we are working with money here, we need to build that trust between us and the customers. Both our social media, Twitter, Instagram, and the Google Play Store reviews. I also communicate on the live chats. So we have these various channels so customers can come in from wherever angle they want. And then I gather their issues. And then whichever ones I could help troubleshoot instantly, I work on those. And then whichever ones I need to take to the tech support, I forward it direct to the tech support, which means the engineers and the back-end developer guys.
Currently registered in 4 countries, Payday's latest product is a digital Visa card.
We recently just launched our Visa cards. I mean, so right now in Nigeria especially, like the cards from your bank don't work on foreign websites. So like there's a cap of $20 a month. That's the max you can spend on your card every single month. So what if you want to like spend, you want to buy something worth $100 or $1,000, or you want to buy a ticket that's like $1,000, what do you do? So right now we just launched our Visa cards that enable Africans or Nigerians in Nigeria to spend globally without limits.
So for African people, made by African people.
Another fintech in Rwanda is currently picking up pace to match the traditional lending market of the nation with a modern twist.
So Exuus is a random fintech. In simple terms, what we're trying to do, we are digitizing informal savings schemes, locally known as EB-MENA. Traditionally, especially in rural areas, you have people that come together because they have inadequate access to financial services. If you need a credit as an individual, you've got to build a whole history with the formal financial services. And sometimes they would ask you for collateral, guarantee, and all that kind of stuff. So what they do now, they create these informal savings schemes, locally known as Ibiminas. So what they do, they pull savings together, and from there they do internal lending. So we target pretty much those groups, and predominantly in rural areas, because again, beside the fact that they suffer from inadequate credit, but also accessibility is a problem. What we're doing pretty much is now trying to digitize that, to use technology and make that possible. But not only that, we are also creating what we call linkage avenues. So whereby while they remain informal, but they use formal channels. And then we link them to formal financial services. And from there, they can choose to transition organically, depending on the risk level or the appetite.
This appetite was not a well-known fact when Exuus entered the market.
I mean, I already knew some of these things existed, but mostly in urban areas. But then back in 2015, that's when we were hired as a consultants firm by the central bank, the Ministry of Finance, and the local NGO called Access to Finance Rwanda. So they were doing a survey to find out, to learn more about these groups. So we worked with over 30 NGOs and over, I think, 40,000 groups. So trying to understand them, and without consultancy. So we're just doing a survey, which we got paid for. I mean, I like to say it's pretty much a market analysis that we did, but also got paid for it. So that's what informed the inception of our product, which is SEV.
Despite having worked with NGOs and government agencies, the startup soon needed a game plan for sustaining rigid mindsets and light pockets among its users.
But by the time we're done with the product, we had run out of money, because we had to, when we started working on the product, we stopped. So we stopped any consultancy service just to focus on the product. But then by the time we were done, when we had an MVP, that's back in 2018, early 2018, we had run out of money. So, and no NGO, because again, remember, primarily NGOs are working with these groups, was willing to pay for it. So that was a challenge. And how did we solve it? Obviously we went around, I mean, talking to different potential investors, and that's how we came across one Japanese investor who put in like a pre-seed investment. I think he put in 50,000 USD. So we used that money to run a pilot. With the hope that at the end of it, NGOs, because at the end we're like, NGOs, it's okay, let's just do a pilot. If you like it, then you're going to pay for it. If you don't, then no loss for you. So that's what we did, and yeah.
Since 2018, Exuus has been able to garner over 100,000 subscribers, upgrading their system from informal to formal, while still complying to their traditional model.
Once they pull saving together, now if any member needs a loan, they get a request in a group. So it's very decentralized, and then other members, they get to have a say on that. So you don't have to, bring your plot or whatnot. So it's pretty much something that they do according to their own terms. We have we like to call it a B2C2B kind of model. Yeah. So for these groups, specifically in the rural areas, mostly the NGOs sort of subsidize for their cost. Yeah. So that's why we need them, not just for the fees, but also in terms of our customer acquisition strategy. Because the NGOs have been developing relationship with these groups for years. So when they introduce us to groups, that makes it easier for us to onboard them.
We have a dedicated support team that deals with inquiry and support issues. So if we have new users that they were not fully onboarded or have questions about the app, so we have a support team that is happily gives them support and clarification about everything that we do here.
While rural customers are supported by NGOs, the urban ones follow a different route.
When it comes to urban groups, they pay a subscription fee. Yeah, we make money, we're post revenue, but we're still cash flow negative. So we're still burning more than we make. So, but then obviously, if you look at our business, it all comes down to volume, right? While there are people trying to do things within this sector, none of them has really hacked it. And we strongly believe we are very close to do that. And that's why we have plans to scale up. So by scaling up, that's what's going to flip the coin for us in terms of margins.
We can try to imitate or expand some of our strategies here in the Kenyan market or any other market, but well, let's see how the research goes. But we do believe some of the strategies here can work, but I do believe in partnering up with different stakeholders at the start. So yeah, I think that's the main thing we're going to ground on as we expand. Given that the language is not a barrier that much, since we're in the same, East African community, that's really a plus, other than just going to any other market where the language is a bit of a barrier. So far, our application is available in 2 languages. So there is English and Kinyarwanda. There is Swahili, we'll just plug it in. If it's a French-speaking country, we just dive into the French bit as well. So we just have to add it there, integrate it, something simple.
With a strong technical foundation and on-hand information about the market, Exuus is confident of their business model.
The latest one was done in 2018. So we surveyed over 47,000 groups. So one group is made of 20 to 30 people, one group. And together in one quarter, so that's the last quarter of 2018, they saved cumulatively over 31 billion Rwandan francs. And I remember that face, that look on your face is the same we had when we were publishing these results. Because the banks, they couldn't believe it. Because there's no bank in Rwanda on a retail basis that handles that kind of volume. Central Bank, as we speak right now, they're working on a digitization strategy. Because they've seen the importance of these groups, and the same applies not just in Rwanda, by the way, it's across sub-Saharan Africa. And for me, success is how many lives are you able to really transform? And currently, we are not even close. I mean, we've got over, 100,000 users in a country of 12 million, so that's just a drop in the ocean. So the moment we are here impacting, 5+ million lives, then that's what I would call success.
Transformation is central to Rwanda's vision, and thanks to innovation, among others, another homegrown tech company called QT Global Software is making waves in the sector.
We're fast-tracking digitization in Rwanda. And our company is primarily made up of 95% of Rwandese. And our goal is to provide excellent services and export this to the globe.
The service in question is essentially data management.
Data management is, I know it's cliche, it's been called the new oil. However, it is a new oil. And oil, for instance, is converted into used in combustion engine. So it gets into cars and it allows people to get to their destination. So with data, it's a very similar thing. It allows people to achieve their goals and get to where they want to get to, utilizing technology.
While the company was founded in 2016, it took a while to find its ground.
It did not become fully operational until 2019, and since then it's taken off to multiple projects. So before, a lot of the records were handwritten. So for instance, with childbirth, the nurses would write it down on a piece of paper. It wasn't digitized. It wasn't synced together with the national system. So what we've done is we've digitized that whole system. So now from the time the baby's born, their information is online and digitized, and there's no more paper involved. We also do digitization for the healthcare sector as well as the justice sector. So in 2019, we developed our event management system. It was then used for smaller scale projects and smaller events with few people. Since then, it has grown to over 200,000 people have come and used our system, including most recently CHOGM for the heads of states. Over 6,000 people utilized our system successfully.
When CHOGM was about to happen, which was after many rescheduling, which 2 years from now, so we were approached by RISA, which is a regulator in the tech space. They were contacted by MINAFET, our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So they needed a solution to help out with the whole CHOGM event. So RISA contacted us, MINAFET needs this. What can you do for them?
Right now we're collaborating with Google and Apple for the COVID notification system, in which it will identify or notify people on their phone if they've had exposure to somebody with COVID.
Since its inception, QT has been growing steadily, all the while keeping quality control in mind, not just for their products, but their employees too.
So we have we are a team of 40 developers who are doing different projects from different complexity, from the easiest to the hardest. Because technology is vast, you have to keep learning. We hire motivated people. We don't look at the age, we don't look at the gender, we don't look at any discrimination. We only look at the talented people and people who have passion on technologies.
While women in technology are still not a commonality, QT boasts competent female talent in leading roles.
So I would say I'm part of the whole development life cycle of our projects. From the moment we engage with a client, whenever they need a proposal, at first they look at me, they're like, oh, so we are going to be interacting with a woman. And then the first question will be, what did you do? What did you learn? I'm like, I'm a computer engineer. They'll be like, that's strange, right? But then after that, when you prove to them that you know what you're talking about, then they start, like they're on your level. They're like, okay, this lady knows what she's talking about. Maybe our first impression was wrong, but then they're like, yeah, you've impressed us and we are very happy that you're taking care of us.
Impressive as it is, QT, like Irembo, deals in sensitive data and prides itself on having foolproof security.
We build with security in perspective because we have very good security engineers who learn about what could be the possibility of the hackers to get in our systems, and we do it regularly. We have a team of 6 security engineers who always look at our solutions, not only the government solution, even our internal products that we have. Because we always look at the logs, we get people who try to get in the systems, but as far as now they haven't succeeded to get in our systems.
QT's ambition is not limited to Rwanda, but instead to go global.
At a certain point we would welcome investors. At the beginning, when you're 2 or 3 people, not that much capital is needed. Now that we've since grown, that would be welcome. However, our capacity and our revenue generation has increased as well, so we would also welcome investments at a larger scale.
We are planning to expand with outside of Rwanda, and we are planning on doing it by customizing the different solutions that are available. The needs drives what we built.
The position that we've been in is land-locked, resource locked. So with digitization, there is no lock on it. And that's the only key that we have. Some of the principles of leadership apply to technology. And one of the biggest ones is self-reliance, is that we have to be able to find our own solutions and invest and develop those solutions.
Technology companies in Rwanda have found success in aligning their vision with that of the nation, building and innovating on a solid infrastructure to carry forward in symbiotic symphony.